I've got Eliot Porter, our bassist, calling in from Providence, Rhode Island. Thanks
Hello.
for joining me, Eliot.
Great, Margot. Great to be here.
So what was a typical work day like for you back before the pandemic?
Get up in the morning, have breakfast, practice and or teach. Most gigs are in the afternoon for freelancers are in the afternoons and the evenings.
Mm-hmm.
So then usually involve driving somewhere. I'm fortunate that one of my gigs is the hall's only 2 miles away, but
Nice.
Vermont,
Yeah.
going on 5 hours. So I have to plan when to leave and account for traffic, and a lot of scary moments for most of us people who travel far to go to our gigs in terms of weather and traffic and all those kind of things. But so that's pretty much it. Not that interesting. Just practicing, teaching, and yes.
So what's it like now that you don't have to make commutes?
No traveling. I've put two tanks of gas in my car since this started only, and it used to be 2 tanks a week where I travel, or more when I drive to Vermont and around the state of Vermont, and only teaching via Zoom, which is not great, but it seems to be the best thing there is according to my research and trials. But so that's what it's like, getting to practice different things that I wouldn't have been practicing, not practicing music for orchestra, but more for, well, solo, looking into all the pile of solo unaccompanied music, bass music that I have. Believe it or not, there is some, but that's been kind of interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The dog's getting longer walks.
That's a silver lining for the dog, at least.
Yes, he's enjoying it.
So what's something that people might not realize about being a professional bassist that you'd like them to know?
Well, it's probably it's a question that gets asked by people who aren't musicians. Well, the classic annoying question is, wouldn't I rather play the piccolo?
Yeah.
And I do not like that question much. Because no, I would not rather. Frankly, I'm not enamored of the sound of the piccolo, and even though it's less trouble to carry around, and that it is more trouble to carry the bass around, I still happy to be a bass player. Happy with what a bass player does. Provides the bottom of the whole sound of a group. Helps in a way, helps lead the group. But a bass player has to have a fairly large car to carry the bass in. So that's perhaps the question that would be asked and answered most often after the piccolo question. So yes, big car, and yeah, that's the biggest thing about the bass, I think. Because it's big.
Yeah, I was going to say the biggest thing about the bass is that it's big.
Yeah, it's big and unwieldy.
Yeah.
To carry and play both. So anyway.
So what's the most unusual show you've ever played?
Wow. Okay, I gave this one a little bit of thought. I was thinking when I first started out, they had more of these kind of almost like variety shows where you have a singer, sort of the lounge style, or the kind of singers that would play in, say, Las Vegas or casinos, who were famous at the time, but probably not anymore. And I remember doing one of these where there was a ventriloquist she had her own charts, but she was neither, and she tried to sing a little bit, but it
Uh-huh.
was probably one of the most horrible musical experiences, but so bad that it was memorable.
So what did she like have? Like a puppet or a what was she casting her voice to?
Yeah, she had a dummy, but I don't remember the dummy so much as the. And she wasn't young, but she seemed really uncomfortable. So it was kind of kind of odd, very. She seemed to have a lot of performance anxiety in the show itself. But that's the one, and the other one actually involved the Vermont Symphony. The previous but two, the guy who was a music director when I first came in, Gigi, also conducted the Orchestra Nacional de Panama, and hired a couple of people. I guess he did this regularly, but I only did it once. He hired Vermont Symphony musicians, and we traveled all the way from New England to Panama to play in this group. But the traveling, especially the first day, the traveling experience was pretty spectacular. We left Logan quite early in the morning, and I think there were 3 stops. So we didn't get there until it was already dark in Panama City, and they put us in a van or vans, and just driving along this crazy Latin American, in this crazy American city in the dark, not knowing where we're going. We show up at this old Baroque style opera house. Completely dark, go in completely dark, go in onto stage, and they're already rehearsing at midnight. And we joined them for Beethoven 9. It was like something out of it felt like something out of a, John le Carré novel. That part of the experience. So, and it was actually fun. It was just that part of it was like, we didn't know what to expect at all. And
yeah, strange arrival there.
Yeah. So those are 2.
So my last question for you, what's your favorite Ben and Jerry's flavor?
Is there's the coffee one? Coffee. Is it called coffee? Buzz? I think.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my favorite Ben and Jerry's.
Nice. Well, thanks so much for chatting with me, Eliot.
It was my pleasure, Margot. Hope everything's going well there in Vermont. I miss it.
Yeah, I mean, we miss you. We miss you making the drive all the way up with your bass, and looking forward to when you can do it again.
Yes, and I am as well. Yes.